Hey guys, so today I'll be talking about a very simple yet important topic, which is lung volumes and lung capacities. The specific terms themselves mean we'll start off with volumes, which is the specific amount of air within the lung at different points throughout the respiratory cycle, meaning the amount of air, let's say, for example, during inspiration, during physiological breathing, or during expiration. Then we have terms such as capacities, which are a much more derived term from two or more lung volumes. They provide information about the overall function and capacity of the lungs. They represent the maximum or the total amount of air that the lung can hold or move during breathing. These are usually calculated or are derived from lung volumes. Some important terms that we need to know for both lung volumes and lung capacities are tidal volume, inspiratory volume, expiratory reserve volume, residual volume. For lung capacities, I'll speak about TLC, VC, and FRC. We start off with lung volumes. So I'll start off with tidal volume, which, as per the text, as you can see, it's the amount of air that moves in and out of the lungs during normal and quiet breathing. It represents the amount of air inspired or expired with each breath. The quantity or the value for tidal volume is 500 ml or zero point 0.5 liters. Then we have inspiratory reserve volume, IRV. Inspiratory reserve volume is the additional volume of air that can be forcefully inhaled beyond the tidal volume. It represents the maximum amount of air that can be inhaled after a normal inhalation. It ranges from 3 to 1.9 liters. The reason it's a range because it varies from person to person. The third volume that we need to speak about is ERV, which is expiratory reserve volume. It's the additional amount of air that can be forcefully exhaled beyond the tidal volume, and it represents the maximal amount of air that can be exhaled after normal exhalation. Again, it's a range which ranges from 1.1 to zero point 0.7 liters. Then we have residual volume. Residual volume is different because it's the amount of air that remains in the lung after maximal exhalation, meaning it cannot be directly measured by spirometry since this air never leaves the lung itself, and it requires special techniques to be determined. Residual volume plays a key role because it helps maintain lung inflation and prevents lung collapse. Again, it's a range. It varies from 1.1 liters to 1.2 liters. Now we move on to capacities. We have first the total lung capacity or the TLC. TLC is the maximum volume of air that the lungs can hold. And like I said, for capacities, it's derived from some lung volumes. So it's the sum of VC, which is vital capacity, and residual volume. Total lung capacity represents the total volume of air contained within the lungs at the end of maximal inhalation. Again, it's a range, so it varies from 5.5 to 4.6 liters in humans. Next is vital capacity, which was used to explain total lung capacity. We have vital capacity, which is the maximal amount of air that can be forcefully exhaled after maximum inhalation. It's the sum of the tidal volume, the inspiratory reserve volume, and the expiratory reserve volume. Vital capacity represents the total volume of air that can be moved in and out of the lungs during maximal respiratory effort. Again, it ranges. We have a range from 4.6 to 3.1 liters. Then we come on to FRC, which is the functional residual capacity. Functional residual capacity is the volume of air remaining in the lungs at the end of a normal exhalation. It's the sum of ERV and RV. Functional residual capacity represents the volume of air in the lungs at the end of a normal breath, and it helps maintain lung function and prevent airway collapse. Again, it being a range, it varies from 2.3 to 1.8 liters. Here you can see all the values written in a table form with their derivation and the ranges you might expect in men and women. We've gone through the four values for volume and the values essential for lung capacities. Now we come on to the spirometry graph. Here, as you can see, 500 ml, this is the tidal volume, which stays constant during physiological breathing. When we are to take a deep breath in, it would show us the IRV. When we take a deep exhalation, it's the ERV. And the part of the graph that does not even interact with our breathing cycle is the residual volume. Then on the right hand side of the graph, we see the relationship between the capacities and the volume. For vital capacity, it's clear IRV plus VT plus ERV. For total lung capacity, we have again VC, or if you want IRV plus VT plus ERV plus residual volume. Thank you so much for paying attention. I hope I was able to explain this topic with no doubts at the end. All the best for your studies. Thank you.